Hi everybody, this is a video about the intercultural competency assignment that's required for all Leaders 371 students. We're doing it online for the first time in this class. So the assignment was introduced in the first module. It also shows up in the second module. And I've added in some materials to help you along with the assignment. So in this assignment, you're doing a case study called Onboarding a New Member to Your Multinational Task Force. So you put yourself in the role of a team lead for a multinational task force based in Charleston. You've just been informed an individual will be joining your team from country X, another country that you will choose. According to your project plan, your team will have 12 months to deliver a highly complex project with multiple interdependencies. It's your job to successfully onboard the individual, ensuring that the team is inclusive and welcoming and that all feel a sense of belonging as they work toward completion of their assignment. You pick the other country. Okay, so you're in the United States, so you're going to be looking at the United States versus another country. Before you get started, review content related to the Hofstede Dimensions of Culture. In Module 1, there's a chapter on diversity. And then there's also a reading and some links about cultural assessment. So this is the most complicated part, and I'm going to walk you through the team data sheet. So if you come through here, and this is in Canvas. So here you're going to be completing this worksheet. Basically, you're going to complete the worksheet and then you're going to graph your results. How about that? Does that make sense? So go through these directions. So 1, use the Hofstede Country Comparison site to ascertain the scores for both the United States and the country that you chose. So here is the country comparison tool. In my example, I selected the United States, and I said my person was coming from France. Okay, so this then gives me the information for the US and France on each of these different country culture components. Okay, so I would fill in 68, 71, 43, 86, 63, 48 for the US, and then the blue numbers for France. What's at the top? Nope, it's the other way around. So France is orange and the United States is blue. Okay, so then complete the value survey module, selecting the best answers for each question. So when you get to the materials in a minute, you will see this file. Okay, so you're going to download, here is the survey that basically assesses your own preferences on those different cultural measures. So you're going to complete this yourself as you. Okay, and then you're going to come down and calculate your score for your results. Okay, so far we've looked at the US scores, the X score, the new culture that you choose. I chose France, and then you calculate your score. Then I'm going to send you a data set of team members, and you're going to calculate, you're going to put the person's name in, the imaginary person's name in, and you're going to calculate their scores. Then you're going to calculate the team scores, okay, just the team members, don't include yourself, to come up with what your team looks like. So you'll end up creating a graph of the US scores, the country scores that your new person's coming from, your score, and then the average team score. So this is the first part of the assignment, and this can be the most confusing. But this is the quantitative reasoning assessment for general education. So that's the first part of the assignment. The second part of the assignment is to talk about what the results mean from a leadership perspective. Okay, so here are the assignments again we just talked about. So part 2, reflect on the cultural dimensions data from part 1, and then write up an action plan for how you would bring that new person onto your team. So how does the country you selected compare to US with regard to culture? So compare the scores from US and the other culture. The individual level, how might national culture influence the behaviors of your new team member? So what are your assumptions about that a person who's a member of that culture, how would they behave based on what you know about those scores and how that translates into behavior? What may be your own cultural biases that have shaped your perspective? What actions can you take to demonstrate openness in working with individuals from different cultures? What questions might you ask of the team members, new and existing, to make sure you have a better understanding of them? And what are 3 specific actions you would take to support your new team and your new team member and the entire team to set them up for success, and base this on the cultural dimensions? So here are the specific learning outcomes for general education. Here is a grading rubric for the 2 different aspects of this assignment. Here is a template. So when you're doing the second section, write your responses to each of the questions in a format like this, so we can clearly identify your responses when we are doing general education assessment. Okay, so that was your information. So I'm going to show you first how I calculated this is a survey I created. It's not really me. I just chose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But you see how you have a score for question 1 is 1, question 2 is 2, question 10 is 5, question 14 is 4. Okay, so question number and then the score. So to calculate, you're going to go down to, so the power distance is 35 times the answer to question 7 minus the answer to question 2. And you have to figure out the answer to question 2 minus question 23 times 25. And then this item on the end is whatever you need to do to adjust the total so that it's between 0 and 100. So if you get a score that's negative, it's going to be 0. If you get a score that's over 100, the score is going to be 100. Okay, so you're going to do that on your individual results. And then I did one of these to show you. So I did it for myself here, but this is what you're going to do for your own score as well as everybody on your team. You're going to go back to that formula and go back to those results and plug in the numbers. So here I wanted to show you 2 minus 2 is 0. 0 times 35 is 0. 5 minus 3 is 2. 2 times 25 is 50. Okay, so I ran through the calculations for my own made up results and plugged them in here so you could follow along and see how to calculate. And then you're going to fill in. So I did a sample here. So I picked France. So I went to that website. I got the information for US and for France. I put in my score that I calculated above. I made up a team down here. And then I calculated the average score. So I just averaged the 5 numbers in each of the columns so that now I have a US score, a France score, a me score, which will be you. And then I have a fake team average. And then I created the graph. So the last part of the part 1, the last piece, is to create a chart that compares the average scores on Hofstede's cultural dimensions. I did Sigler team. I'm going to send you some data sets, so you'll put in whatever data set you have. So you'll have a line for the US, a line for whatever country you choose, a line for yourself, a line for your team. Then you're going to create a graph for it, add a title, and it should look something like this. So as you're going through it, be sure to let me know if you have any questions. I don't need that. And let me know.